coming to you live, and I do mean live from inside SoFi Stadium here in Los Angeles, California. Of course, this is the site of Super Bowl 56, but we're here tonight to cover the Kansas City Chiefs as they travel all the way to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Chargers in a matchup tonight that will decide who is going to be the AFC Division champions. So, that being said, I mean, we are here live, and Steve, I want to get your first thoughts and impression on tonight's game.
Man, first thoughts is going to come about this stadium. It's like this is the second new stadium we've been to in this past season, and I think this takes the cake by far.
Yeah, obviously we look at what we saw in in Las Vegas, and of course, now in Las Vegas was nice, but Steve, as I've told people before, it is something about this particular stadium, and I don't know if it's just because it's so massive and the space that it takes up here in Los Angeles, but this is the place to be right now. And if you are here in Kansas, if you are here from Kansas City, you know as well as I do that this is. This is, I would say that the ninth wonder of the world. Everybody talked about Jerry's World and AT&T Stadium, but this stadium here takes the cake, Steve, as you mentioned. I mean, this is a sight to behold. If you haven't seen it, if you've only seen it on television, let me tell you, there's not enough justice and words cannot say how beautiful this stadium is. But for $6 billion, it better be.
I like the fact you have two screens on. It seems like it's
Yeah, there's a
you can
screen
look at
like
it
on
it's
the
on
inside of
the
the screen.
inside of the screen. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then not only that, but the outside of the stadium, you have a stadium inside of a stadium, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome experience for everyone, but also an awesome game as well.
But obviously, look, what we're here for, Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers. The last time these two teams faced off against each other was at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City lost that game 30-24, but they lost because why? They turned the football over. Had four turnovers in that ball game, Steve. The Chiefs have won 6 games. I'm sorry, I can't hear myself now. So there were 4 turnovers by the Kansas City Chiefs, Steve, that caused them to lose the ball game, and they even had a chance to win the game towards the end of the ball game. So, give me your thoughts. Chiefs are 9-4, Chargers 8-5 coming into Thursday night's football game.
I think the biggest thing today is what happened this week. I think I'll mute your mic as well. What happened this week as far as the COVID situation? There's going to be no, of course, Chris Jones. There's going to be a few other guys that are going to be inactive for today, and also L'Jarius Sneed. So you're going to have all these guys that would normally be have been effective over the past 5-6 weeks and inactive today. So I think that's going to be the biggest test on the defensive side of the ball on what they are able to get done.
When we look at tonight's matchup, the Chiefs will be without Chris Jones. They'll be without L'Jarius Sneed. They'll also be without Josh Gordon. I think there's one of the players that they're going to be without in tonight's ball game. But again, Chiefs came out on the other end of the 30-24 loss against the Chargers back in September. Well, no, my mic is muted. So, um, one second. Go to Cam Mike. Yeah. So we should be good to go. So again, be that as it may, Steve, Andy Reid is 14-6 against his team. Chargers have actually won the last 2 ball games against Kansas City. They won in Arrowhead last year to end the season, and of course won earlier this year. Chiefs lead the all-time series 64-57-1. But in tonight's ball game, Steve, I keep trying to tell everybody, leading up to this game, whether or not Chris Jones plays in this game or not, you still have number 15 in Patrick Mahomes, and at the end of the day, if Patrick Mahomes throws for 6 interceptions, Chris Jones playing in tonight's ball game, it's not going to matter. It's going to be whether or not the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and that offense, whether or not they keep the offense clean, where they're not putting the ball in harm's way, putting the ball on the ground, doing anything unpredictable like they normally have in the early part of the season, but they're not doing it any longer.
I would agree. So when we look back at those two games that they lost earlier in the season. We talked about the Chiefs beating themselves. We
Yeah.
talked about the Baltimore Ravens game, and also what we're here to see today, which is against the Los Angeles Chargers. In hindsight, 2020. But when you look at everything that's happened throughout the season, I really believe that this is going to be a totally different team that we're going to see on the field today.
Kansas City Chiefs, of course, they are averaging now. They got their average back up to 27 points a game, same as the Los Angeles Chargers. Steve, one of the things that you want to look for in tonight's game, if you're the Chiefs, is of course their defense. Their defense has been the catalyst of this current 6-game winning streak that they're on. And what's interesting is that the last 9 games, their opponents have only scored 9 points. But if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and the defense, there's going to be more pressure on you, obviously, to step up in place of Chris Jones. But when you look at it, you got a Los Angeles football team that has scored 41 points twice out of the last 4 games. They scored 37 last week against the New York Football Giants, and the game that they lost was against the Denver Broncos, where they only scored 13 points. So, which Chargers team do you expect to show up tonight?
You really don't know. I mean, you sometimes they come out and they're on fire, and then you look at the game that they had against the Denver Broncos, and it's like, is this the same Chargers team that's been beating up on everybody this season? So again, this is going to be one of those matchups where it's whoever scores first, I believe, because this Chargers team, they've been the little brother to not only the Chiefs but also to the Raiders these past few years, right? And so the little success that they've had early on in the season, will they be able to sustain that? I don't believe that they will. However, they do have a young quarterback who is, like we talk about the little brother of the team, little brother of Patrick Mahomes, so to speak. he's looking up to the success that Mahomes has had these past few seasons, and he wants that. So if he wants to make a case to be said of, okay, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, he has to come out and play well tonight.
I see what you did there with the whole younger brother thing, but that's shout out to Patrick Mahomes, and we'll be praying for your strength when it comes to that. Look, it's easier said than done to try to live up, and I don't want to say the shadow because he's his own man, but he has proven that he can beat Patrick Mahomes. Not only that, he's beaten Patrick Mahomes in his home stadium. Question is now, because last year when he started against the Chiefs, it came literally seconds before kickoff,
right,
when they announced him as a starter, and he almost led the team to victory in that game. Of course, the game went to overtime before the Chiefs pulled it out. The player that I think that we should watch out for, Steve, is Melvin Ingram. Of course, he's returning back to his old stomping ground where he played for the Chargers throughout his career up until this season. New stadium, but same team that he played for last year. But he played in the stadium last year when he was on the team. So
right.
looking at that, how do you think Melvin Ingram in his return? I know he tried to downplay it when we spoke to him last week, but how do you think his return to SoFi Stadium and against the Chargers is going to play out tonight?
A little added juice, right? You look at it, not only that juice, but one thing we didn't mention is the juice that sometimes you have bulletin board material, and the juice that this team came in the season with, meaning the Chargers. Justin Herbert came in this season with a little bit of added juice because what Patrick Mahomes said in the offseason. He said, hey, watch out for the Chargers. Oh, I believe it when I see it. That's exactly what he said. So he had that bulletin board material in that first week. Now I think Melvin Ingram is going to be able to come out here and use that exactly what Justin Herbert was able to do, and have some success. He's not the type of guy, I don't think, that looks at it, okay, I'm going in to play my former team. At least that's not what he's going to tell you. But I think deep down inside, he wants to come out here and be successful.
There's a lot at stake in tonight's game, Steve. If the Chiefs win, they take the inside track to winning the division with only one game remaining against the Denver Broncos at the end of the season.
93% chance, I believe.
93%. However, if they lose this game, Steve, not only are they swept by the Los Angeles Chargers, but it makes it that much more difficult for them to not only win the division, but obviously, try to capture the number 1 seed, where they could potentially go on the road throughout the playoffs if they are trying to get back to the
and,
Super Bowl.
and that's the situation you don't want to find yourself in, because if you happen to look and watch the scoreboard, oh well, we hope the Chargers lose. We hope the Chargers do this or do that. Then you don't want to really be in that situation. You want to be able to be out in front of it, and let the fate be in your own hands.
Be that as it may, you got the Kansas City Chiefs again. They are 9-4 in this ball game coming into the game. Chargers 8-5 last week. They were 37-21 winners over the New York Giants. The Chiefs 48-9. Offense got the clicking last week, Steve, but the offense was aided by this defense. How do you think Spags will have things dialed up without his top pass rusher and Chris Jones in tonight's ball game? Obviously, we expect other players to step up in this place. Of course, Travarius Ward is banged up, and I think he'll go in tonight's game. But where does the added play come in now that Chris Jones is out?
I think you're gonna look at guys like Alex Okafor,
Yeah.
and the success that he has last week has to carry over to this week. Some of the guys like that, also Mike Dana. You know there's no Willie Gay, so you're gonna have guys like Derek Nottie. Those guys have to play well. In addition to the play of Melvin Ingram and Frank Clark. Frank Clark's gonna have to be a monster today. We haven't really seen some monster games out of him, and so I think today has to be one of those.
Frank played very well last weekend. And look, the good thing is with this defense, they are healthy. Obviously, outside of the COVID issues, they are healthy coming into this game. What, in your opinion, is going to be the X factor in tonight's game? Because, one name that we haven't really got a chance to talk about because of quote-unquote play or how defense has been playing them is Travis Kelce. Can this be a big game for Kelce and Tyreek tonight? Or should we expect Patrick to continue to spread the ball around, and we see somebody else step up in place of Tyreek and Travis tonight?
We talked about them getting on the board early. I think it's going to have to be Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. We haven't really seen much from Mecole Hardman. I know he talked to us this week and said that he's continuing to stay ready. He's continuing to. Coach Reed said he's been having a great attitude, but great attitude and staying ready isn't going to help you win ball games. I think he has to actually go out there and not look good on paper. He has to put forth a little bit more effort on the field so he can be that extra that second receiver. But all that's fine and good. But I think that the stars need to shine tonight in a primetime matchup, which that being Travis Kelce and also Mecole Hardman. Tyreek Hill.
Speaking of stars, Steve, of course, this is where Andy Reid kind of shines bright. Patrick Mahomes on Thursday Night Football is thrown for 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Has 120 quarterback rating in this type of on this night when he plays on Thursday Night Football. Tyrann Matthews, Harrison Butker. This could be this could be a big night for him. Depending on how these defenses play each other. Joey Bosa is back in tonight's game. I think he had been out the last couple of weeks due to COVID, and then of course the Chargers they have players that are out as well, either via COVID or for injury issues. So they're pretty banged up as well. Again, I think it all kind of evens itself out.
It does.
But be that as it may, we've come to the point in the show, Steve, where we have to give our predictions. How do you see tonight's game unfolding, and who wins tonight's matchup?
Man, been talking about it this whole show so far. I think it's whoever strikes first, man. I think you always talk about the coin flip, and this is going to be one of those days where it's going to be affected. But if the Chiefs happen to win the coin flip and they do defer, I believe the defense will step up.
Yeah.
And when they do, and they get 3 and out, that's when Patrick Mahomes and company has to show up. They have to score.
Well, Steve, if you remember, let me jump in. If you remember, that was what was surprising for us the first time these two teams played. Obviously, coming out of that Baltimore loss, and we were looking at the defense, and the defense had the Chargers go 3 and out back to back, and the Chiefs' offense was the one that that couldn't move the ball.
Right. I agree, and I do remember that. However, today is a new day.
Yeah,
and all of the fans, all of the naysayers and coaches and Andy Reid and company, they'll say, "Hey, we put that game behind us. We're here now, and we're here in Los Angeles today, and we're going to come out here and we're going to try to do what we do." But with that being said, they have to score. They have to score early. And even if it takes a 12, 15 play drive to go down and score, that's just take what the team is giving to you. And Patrick Mahomes limit the turnovers. That's the big thing within today's game. Like you said earlier, limit those turnovers, and I think they'll be fine.
Not only limited turnovers, Steve, but I think even more importantly is for the defense, because two things: the defense did not create turnovers in the first game, nor did they even get to Justin Herbert. He wasn't hit, he wasn't sacked.
Yeah.
I mean, he was clean. So I think those two things will play a huge factor in today's ball game if Kansas City is to pull out a victory in tonight. So,
And they're breathing a sigh of relief because no Chris Jones.
yeah, that's true. But but
Yeah.
but one thing we do need to note, Lucas Niang is back in the starting lineup for the Chiefs as well.
Mm.
So he's back suited up, playing in tonight's game. So I unfortunately interrupt you, and I apologize for that. But your score prediction for tonight's game?
Ooh. What did I say earlier this week? What was it? 34-10, something like that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out for a team that scored 41 in two of the last four games and scored 37. I'm still trying to figure out. I know the defense has been good, but to
I,
hold them to 14 points,
Yeah, I'm just going off the last 3 weeks. And I held team to 9. This defense held team to 9 points.
yeah, but
I
they
can't see much more than that.
yeah, but they hadn't faced the offense like what they faced. I mean, you could say Dallas, but it depends on which team. Chargers though, but okay. I mean, so you're saying 31-14,
No, I said 34-10.
34-10.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, it's still 44 points. Uh, I'm gonna put a little respect on the Chargers on what they've done
Mhm.
and the fact that they did beat Kansas City. Kansas City ran the ball effectively for 186 yards. They
Right.
still they still somehow found a way to lose, but of course that was because of the turnovers.
Right.
I do believe that they play a much cleaner ball game. If they have a turnover, I think it'll be either early or late in the ball. Well, hopefully not late in the ball game, but I think it'll be early in the ball game if that's to take place. I got Kansas City winning this game. I'm going 35-28. Kansas City pulls it out. I think they cover this time around, and I believe that they score more than 54 points. Vegas had them initially at 52. Now they have it up to 54. So they're looking for a lot of scoring in tonight's ball game. This is the last Thursday night game of the season, Steve. So when I say talking to people from Fox, they're pulling out all the stuff. You got Fox, you got ESPN, you got the NFL Network. Everybody is here in tonight's in the stadium tonight to see this matchup. This is, of course, some of the futures you would say of the NFL. We know what Patrick Mahomes can do. Everybody wants to see what Justin Herbert is going to do. He's in LA under the lights. We know there's going to be celebrities here. Obviously the people are just they're starting to come in now, but kickoff is less than 15, 20 minutes away, and I'm gonna go with the Chiefs as well. So I got the Chiefs winning 35-28 for 63 points. And look, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. And make sure you follow us respectively on our platform. Post game, we'll bring you live coverage of the Chiefs presser in the press conference where Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and select Chiefs players will come and answer questions about tonight's game. And so make sure you tune in to, again, our respective channels for that. And then also make sure you come Monday at 6:30 to the Soiree Steak and Oyster House on 18th and Vine, and join us for the Red Hour with Steve Walsh, myself, DJ Q, or Sean Tyler. We'll talk right about this game, and then we'll also preview Sunday, the following game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which will be the day after Christmas at 3:25. So for Steve Walls, but before we get out of Steve, you're looking nice, you're looking sharp, you're looking game day ready. Who got you suited and booted today?
Well, I want to thank my good friends over at Dillard's Zona Rosa. Go check them out. Holiday time is here. If you have a lady friend, or if you're a lady and have a male friend, I mean, you can go in and grab them something for your holidays, just in time for Christmas. Also, if you want to get a suit and look great, go into your job or your everyday look, go hang out with them, and they'll get you right, and they're made to measure.
All right, and of course, me, myself, and I, we are suited and booted by Todd White and Todd's Clothing and Tailor Suits, located on 21st and Broadway, as well as inside the Ward Parkway Shopping Center off of 85th and State Line. So, once again, for Steve Walsh, you can catch him on all the social media platforms. That's Steve Walsh KC. myself, Darren Smith, at Darren Smith WHB. We will see you all post game. Go Chiefs.